Mums and Melanin. My name's Takoni.
I'm Debbie.
I'm Ayola.
And I'm Takumba.
Listen, guys, like, comment, subscribe. We're here every Tuesday. Give us your feedback.
Come on.
Join us in conversation and discussion. So today we're talking about juggling work life, mum life. How do we do it? Like, how do we get around it? How do we organise our lives? Like, what do we do?
That one is a real one. I think because majority of us mums go through it, innit? And for me, so I went back to work when Micaiah was 10 months old.
Okay.
So I had to put him in nursery, did the whole settling thing. He was actually fine settling, but I think because he was so young, I was just concerned about just someone else caring for my child in a setting where there's older kids, you know what I mean? Different kinds of characters, and all the rest of it. But I think, okay, so for me, when I got pregnant, I was in another company. I went off for maternity leave. I decided that I wanted more money. So, of course, I looked for a new job, got a new job, and started my new job when my son was 10 months. Now, the thing is, because I started a new job and just had a baby, what it meant for me is that I had to prove myself again, to show my abilities, to show, do you know what I mean, what I can do. I felt like I had to show you what I'm bringing to the table. Whereas when you go back to an old company, you kind of already have your foot under the...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People already know what you bring to the table. They know how good you are. They know you're consistent, you're trustworthy, all the rest of it. Because it's new, it's a new relationship almost. I have to show you that. But I'm having to show you that whilst I'm waking up 3 times in the middle of the night to feed my child. Yeah. I'm having to show you that with severe sleep deprivation and, you know, having to rush in the morning to get the kid ready, to get myself ready, to get in the car, go drop baby, all of that stuff without making it obvious to you that, oh, I've got this I've got sleepless nights, I've got all of this stuff going on. Yeah. Because I never wanted to seem like, oh, because I'm a mum, I can't do this. Yeah. And I think that was a challenge I had. And I just felt like I'm never going to let them say it's because of my child. Yeah. So, funny enough, people have different perspectives on this. But for me, I didn't make it known that I have a 10-month-old. Yeah. I just felt like I'm going to go in and do what I'm going to do. You're not going to ever say, oh, you know, because you had a baby or whatever. I just didn't want that to ever be a thing. Yeah. So I kind of went in with that, giving my best. I'm not going to lie to you. There's many a times I have to go to the toilet and literally pour cold water in my eyes because I'm literally sleeping. Like, I'm so tired. Going from, you know, being on maternity I was off. I took like annual leave before he actually came. So I was off for like a good year. Sleeping and, you don't really sleep, but I wake up when I wake up. I nap when the baby naps. Do you know what I mean? Like, my whole schedule's changed. And now I have to be in the office, 9 a.m, ready for a start, leaving at 5, rush back to go and get the kid. Yeah, it was a lot for me. So I was constantly like in the toilet. I would have the fan on in winter. People are like, you okay? I'm like, oh, I'm just quite warm. But the truth is, I'm trying to keep myself awake because I was struggling. Like, it wasn't easy. But the truth is, not going back to work was not an option for me. Yeah. What I wanted to do, the things I wanted to achieve and the timelines I wanted to achieve it just wasn't an option. And obviously, nursery itself is expensive. So everything together, I had to be at work. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think the struggle for me, more say, it was initially anyways, was just trying to pretend that I got it all together. And I had that got it all together vibe about me. I'm not going to lie. I was very like, I was there, I'll put myself up for things. I almost don't know why, now that I think about it, because really, you can't discriminate against me for having a child. But I didn't think about it that way. My thing was just more, it's a new job, I want this job, it's a progression from where I'm coming from, and I want to just keep progressing. So I need to show you my best. Yeah. And I almost have this mental timeline that after like a year and a half, what's next? That's like my thing. Yeah. So it's almost a self-pressure that I've put on myself, to be honest. Yeah. So that in itself, that was a struggle. I think after a while, because obviously, you know, when it's like, let's go for drinks, I'm like, girl, I need to go back to the nursery. There's no time for drinks. There's no time for pubs. I think after a while, I would say, oh yeah, I've got a so-and-so. But I found the way they reacted, I appreciated it. It was like, oh my God, and you're in, like, kudos to you. And I love that. I love that praise. It's hard work and you're appreciating my hard work. And you can see that if I'm giving you this with lack of sleep, then I must be great when I am finally sleeping. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, but that's how I dealt with it. And obviously that struggle went on for quite a while because Micaiah was still waking up till he was probably about 1.5, like in the middle of the night, still having, it would reduce to how many times he was having a night, but obviously I was putting that formula right up, boy. I was like, tonight you would do 8 ounces. Let's see how long that will stretch you, because I was trying to get used to it all.
If you could, go on. If you could go back, would you do it differently?
Would I do it differently?
In terms of what though?
Would I tell them?
Yeah, or would she try and see how they could accommodate, or would you still kind of just go in and do your own thing?
Okay, so the kind of manager I actually had on that job, she was terrible. So for that reason, I probably wouldn't have necessarily looked for flexibility, because I probably wouldn't have lasted in that job, because she was a problem. Okay. And having a problem manager when you have kids is just not an option.
It's the worst.
It's not an option. Look for a new job. It's just not worth it. So that was another stress that I was carrying. But would I, in a normal sort of setting with good manager, I think I would say, because realistically, HR's there for a reason.
Yeah.
There's governing bodies there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? There's policies there for a reason. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, I was able to do it, but someone else, perhaps in my position, may not have been able to cope so much.
Yeah.
And the adverse effects it could have on you is just not really worth it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it worked, yes, but would I advise someone else to do it? Probably not. If particularly if you're in an environment where you can be open and you can get that flexibility.
I find it interesting because up until now, I work as if I don't have children. It's a pressure that I put on myself, like you're saying. Like, when I go to work, maybe because of my role, I work in a community and I've got quite a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And this is caring for other people's children. So I'm a children's nurse, but I work in mental health with children with eating disorders. So there's a lot of responsibility that I have at work that I can't take days off. I can't, this one's sick. I can't. Like, I try and just work as if I don't have children. And to be fair, it's only because I have that support that I'm able to kind of do that. Okay. So I can't, just cancel appointments. I'm a lone worker. Like, parents have booked appointments maybe to see them at 9:30, 10:30 or whatever. And I can't just wake up and be like, oh, because Azariah I'm well or diarrhea vomiting, whatever, I cancel all the appointments. It's something that I can't really do. So although my work is flexible, I put things in my own diary, I still can't be super flexible.
This is the thing.
Why I put pressure on myself to just...
This is the thing. Because I do find that people who utilize the flexibility, they don't progress. That's my view with what I've seen. Now, obviously, maybe it's not 100% of people. You become a bit laid back. But you do become a bit laid back. You kind of get a bit more stuck in your role. The truth is, the higher you go, the more is demanded of you, and they can't... Even if I was an employer, I can't expect more of you if right now you can't
struggling.
Yeah, it'll be silly of me to now be like, okay, now come and get... Because the truth of the matter is, you're trying to juggle and it's not easy. So me giving you more is only going to make it more difficult. Yeah. But then realistically, how does one juggle work-life balance with being a mum and progress then? Because I suppose the only way that I've seen is kind of concealing, like you said, not taking the days off and using your support pillars and, you know what I mean, pretending that everything's good and forcing yourself to get through it just because you're trying to keep going.
So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is as a mother, if you want to progress, you kind of need to make certain sacrifices. So the two can't necessarily go hand in hand. You can't progress and have your career as a mother and still be hands-on with your kids.
Yeah, I think it depends on the stage. It depends on the stage that your child is at. Once they're a bit more independent, it's a little bit different. Yeah. But when they're younger, I 100% believe, and this is why you'll find in some industries, I studied law, I started in law, and I quit law specifically because I knew one day I wanted to be a mum, and I knew it wasn't going to work for my life. The truth is, there's some industries that you can't start a family because it's either your career or your family. Quite literally.
I disagree.
I think many people.
No, it's true.
I think many people do that.
It depends on
people do that,
where you're trying to get. Obviously,
the statement that you can't do certain things because, like you said, you quit law because you want to be a mother.
It's because I feel like how hard it is.
No, let me put context on it. No, let me put context on it. This is it. So if I wanted to get to where I wanted to get to in law at the time I would like to be there, the truth is, it's one or the other. Because with law, you go to work and you bring all that case file back home and you have to work. There is no... Work-life balance is not a real thing. Unless you're maybe a paralegal, if you're like an admin stuff and stuff like that, it's different. But if you're dealing with proper caseload on a day-to-day... Even men that don't necessarily have to look after the child full-time or whatever, they don't sleep. They sleep in the office. I'm coming from a place where people literally will sleep in the office. Next morning, you see them in the same shirt. They've worked out in that office because they cannot... The working day is not enough for the workload. It's that real. And so I've come across a lot of people. Obviously, I can only speak for the legal background because that's my experience. Yeah. But I've come across a lot of people who have either decided to leave law to have kids earlier, or they've established their career to a point where they now have flexibility, but it means that they're having children later. There's not a problem with that, but personally, I didn't want children later. Do you know what I mean? So depending on what you want, there is a sacrifice, and it's just which one best suits you. Some people are happy with, like, you know, having everything put together because they're financially sound, they're where they want to be in their career, and then starting having kids much later in life. But for me, I need to be flying around much later in life. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't an option for you.
Okay. From that perspective, I get it. But I just feel like maybe it's wishful thinking. But I feel like, why can't you have it all?
Yeah.
Why can't you have the career you want and have your children? Yeah, it's going to be.
I do think there's some industries that you can though.
Yeah.
I think it's very.
You've broken it down.
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with the law industry.
This is it.
But I do feel like there are certain industries where actually you can progress to be the CEO level or whatever the equivalent is, and have your children, and you know, do each successfully. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, but remember.
It's hard work.
This is it.
It affects the way you work and the way. So when I fell pregnant with Sienna, I was studying. I was doing my nursing training, and I fell pregnant in the middle, bang in the middle, and I still had exams. And I was pregnant. I gave birth and went back to uni, and my grades were dropping.
Yeah, it's tough.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I did it. You know, I did it with, you know, support and whatever, but it was difficult. It's not something I do find.
Yeah. This is the thing.
You know, I mean, people do it, and you can do it. You can do it.
Definitely, it's doable.
It's doable. I did it, but it's difficult, and it's that balance. Like, how can you give your all into a job or, you know, studies or whatever when you're having a baby? It's my grades. Literally, I was a very A-star student.
Come on. Very.
Yes, if you don't know, you don't know.
But
ask about Okoni.
after having her, my grades were dropping to the point where I actually had to resit one of my my essays, one of my papers. And it's because I wasn't doing anything else. I just had a baby. It was sleepless nights, I'm writing paper. So imagine going to work. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can do it, but it just becomes more difficult. And it's whether you choose whether you want to kind of fight through it. For me, I felt like I didn't have a choice because I was bang in the middle of uni. I had to push through. But if it's like a job, you know, it's balancing whether you want to push through or, you know what, let me have, you know, get my career, like I say, and then have baby after, or have baby. You have to kind of like sacrifice.
Yeah. There is, yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, I agree. I think having kids definitely does like have a slowing effect on your career. Like whether you like it or not, being on maternity leave, whether it's 6 months or a year, it's different. Do you know what I mean? I went on maternity leave, and my peer, as in we're age mates, you know what I mean? We're having lunch together. I come back, he's not my manager. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, what? Huh? All I went to do is have my kids, but
exactly.
That's what happens. I'm on maternity leave again. Maybe when I come back now, you may be 2 levels above me.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Things happen. But I guess you have to, you make your choices and you go with your priorities. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately now, my children, my family, my priority. My career is important, very important to me. But basically, there's no regret. Do you know what I mean? I'll never change the way it's happened because I'm happy with what I've got. Do you know what I mean? In the long term, I'll look back and be guided in my decisions.
Same here.
But it is interesting. And as women, these are things that we have to weigh up. Like, whether we like it or not, being out of the workplace for a year is a long time.
100%.
It's detrimental,
100%.
yeah. It's detrimental, like, but one thing I would like, and it's one thing that this country does well, is those keeping in touch days. They are really helpful. Like, I think we get like 10 by law or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, and I guess it's good for the employer because it kind of eases you back into work, and the likelihood is you're more likely to return to that place of work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they don't lose out on the investment they have in you as an employee.
Yeah.
But I think it helped me with kind of easing my way back in because I was really anxious. I told my manager, like, I was really anxious about returning back to work.
I was going to ask that as well.
I was not on it.
Yeah, I know, I hear that. But because you went back, you had keeping in touch days, you had annual leave to even use to ease your way back in. I went into a new job, I can't come and start saying I want annual leave tomorrow.
No, and then there's no keeping in touch as well.
And there's no keeping in touch.
You're starting afresh, that's
so,
true.
Yes, like I was very anxious. Funny you said that. I was like literally the day before I was almost like twiggling, like just like, oh my God, like, because it was just that kind of fear of the unknown. How am I going to deal with it? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to be tired? Am I going to be sloppy? Am I going to miss things? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I still deal with legal related stuff, but I do surveying as a day-to-day, but it's in relation to like cases that I had to go to court and what the rest of it. So I can't afford to miss things because I'm the one signing and it's coming back to me. Do you know what I mean? There's particular things that if you miss it, you may have to do time for, like literally in my job. So it's that specific that I was almost like, am I sure? Maybe I've jumped into this too early. Maybe I shouldn't have started a new job. You know, you go through all of these. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes you don't realise how strong you are until you're in that position. Like, honestly, I didn't know that I could give the way I've given. I didn't know that, like, I was almost seen as the best in the team. I'm the youngest in my team, the only one with a child. I had all men. Surveying tends to have a lot of men. It's changing, thank God. But it was all men except for my manager, who was not a great manager. And then on top of it, just me, just had a child. I'm the only one not sleeping. They have years and years of experience more than me because they're much older than me.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had a lot to prove in order to get where I want to get to. And when you're someone that's quite driven, it is difficult to make that, do I drive or do I hold my drive for now and drive next year instead so I can kind of balance? And do you know what I mean? And that's almost what you're thinking. You're almost thinking, do I kind of just give it some time and be okay with where I am, even though it kind of puts a year delay, but then at least that way I've got my ducks in a row. Things are a bit more, feel more stable. Things are a bit more steady for you to then push, you know what I mean? And because it's not impossible, but there's some things that will make you pick. There's going to come a point where you're going to have to pick. And you find that some people have, you know, if finance is an issue, you may have like au pairs or people that are looking after your children, but then you have to ask yourself, are you okay with not being there? Are you okay with not being present because you're pushing work? You're obviously pushing work so your finances go up so you can look after your children and have a better life. But these are all questions you have to ask yourself.
It's a balancing act.
And sometimes just knowing that, okay, you know what, I might have to put my head down for 1 year. Something. And then, so that you can have that relaxed life.
Exactly. Some people do it earlier when the baby's still young and say, do you know what, they're not going to remember much. They're still okay. Exactly. As long as I pump the milk and all the rest of it, I'm going to do the best I can. Honestly, kudos to all of us because we have different ways of doing it and we're all different people. Yeah. But the truth is, you have to know what's right for you because I would never be able to give. That's not my character. I'm not going to not really see my child. So I'm at that work. I'm just going to be absent because for me, I'll be thinking, what kind of life is this?
As I'm listening, you just said there'll be a common point you have to choose.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, no, there's no way on God's green earth I can be in the biggest meeting of my life, and if there's something happening with my child, respectfully. Deuces.
Really?
And I promise you, that's who I am. Like
you work from home, right?
I'm currently working from home.
How do you even manage that?
Hey.
No, that working from home, I don't know how you do it with kids. My child is going to nursery because I'm still working.
I didn't know that it would be difficult until I knew it was difficult.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So obviously it was only actually no, tell a lie. It was when the pandemic started, I was on maternity leave, thank God. So I didn't feel the full impact of working from home during the madness. Like, I was kind of eased. Everyone went back to school. It was just me and Amara at home. I finally returned to work. And prior to this whole pandemic, I hated working from home. I wasn't productive. I didn't like it. I never did it. I just thought it was a waste of time. If I wanted to work from home, because I wanted to do my nails, I wanted to do my... I didn't work from home because there's no point. So now having to return to work, everything has changed. Working from home now, and I have Amara, it was just a shock to my system. And it took me a while to get into it. Like, I literally had to make a routine for myself and Amara because otherwise I would get nothing done. And I found that I'm more productive now working from home than I ever was when I was in the office.
Wow.
Like, they were like, literally, Debbie, like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. How are you doing this? And I was just like, oh yeah, that's fine. But really, I'm like, no, me too, this is amazing. Like,
clap for yourself.
I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine, you know, we've got a routine. But actually, I'm like, yeah, no, this is good.
It's working.
No, you have to celebrate your own wins, though.
Yes,
you do. Because it's not easy.
When you know that you're actually doing a good job. Because now, nobody can chat to me.
That's it.
It's fine. It's actually fine. You know I have a child.
Yeah.
You see her, she'll pop her head in the meetings. Hello.
Really?
Like, Amara.
It depends on the industry, though. Yeah. It depends on your manager. It depends on so much.
Thank God, my team, that actually really, my manager is amazing. Like, so lovely. You know, like when you could just gist and talk casually, it's calm. They understand.
Good managers are so important.
Those ones that be thinking their dad runs the company.
Yeah.
They do too much. Relax. It's okay.
In the pandemic, my manager told me the nurseries were closing earlier, obviously, because of this whole staffing thing and people going off sick and making sure there's enough staff in the nursery. My manager said, well, I'm expected to work till 5 p.m.
What? So,
as a mum, just imagine, obviously, we've never had the pandemic before. Yeah. Guys, I put my, that night, I'll tell you, that story is for a whole nother day, but I put my son, Makai, to bed and I sat down to write a very serious stinking email because you know when it's just like we're fighting because I've been giving you my best. Bear in mind, this is a job.
Pause. So he said that you work till
she.
She.
Yeah.
I like it saying he because I can't even comprehend that she would even. Okay, fine. So she said that, but your contract is till 5.
Yeah.
So what happened?
She was like, well, you know, realistically, her thing was just that this is my working hours and I should be able to fulfill it. Like, I can't leave early. But my thing is that, unfortunately, there's a pandemic which no one has prepared for. Unfortunately, the systems I put in place to look after my child when I'm at work is no longer functioning as it would do because of a pandemic that, again, no one has prepared for. Yeah. So you just expect that in that time, we all just have to kind of work around each other. And so, as a mum, I'm not going to lie to you, in that position, I was ready to quit my job. If it means that you're telling me to leave my child, so social services come get him, I will 100% leave this job, it's fine. It's actually fine. And sometimes you're going to come across things like this that you never expected that will show you that I will 100% pick my child over anything. Yeah. That's just it. Like, I will pick him over anything. Like, if I have to go and do part-time somewhere, this is part of my story.
Yeah. Facts upon fact. That's why there's nothing, for me anyway, I guess there's nothing that will be so big or so important that I will have to shush my child or, you know, put them on the back burner. It's not a possibility for me. And I don't care if there's someone else available to do it. Like, even if it's a case of, okay, let me go and call them. No, if it's a serious situation, it has to be me to deal with it. That's just how I feel.
So when you say serious, just for context, what kind of stuff are you talking about that you'd leave work for?
Okay, for example, like, I've been at work and they've called saying that Kiana, she got her finger stuck in an apparatus in school, right? Don't mind her, she was just being fast. Kiana, I've come to exposure again. she was in primary school, she was being fast. But you know, like the tube that you put the marbles in. For some reason, she put both her fingers in like this. And maybe it swelled, but she couldn't take it out. So the school's like, well, we can't take it out because if something damages, you know, we can't be liable. Like, we can call an ambulance. And I'm thinking, no. Like, and although it wasn't severe, like, her fingers are stuck, essentially, and I can hear her crying in the background. So I was like, okay, fine, I'm coming. I just looked to my hands and said, there's an issue with my daughter. And at this time, I wasn't in the same team I'm in now, and those ones are a bit of douches. So I was just like, literally, the look that I gave them, I'm going to get to my child. Like,
you have to do it with confidence, you know.
There can't be, do you mind if I... No, my child needs me, I'm going now. Do what you need to do to... Like, if we need to speak about this tomorrow, I'm happy to have that conversation. In this moment right now, there's only one thing that you can say to me. I hope she's okay. If I don't hear that from your mouth, it's a mental no. We'll talk about that when you want to talk to me.
That's fair.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's certain levels with my children, play things like, oh yeah, you know, they've got a bit of a cough or they've vomited and okay, can you call his dad please? That's different.
That's
different.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
And you should be entitled to that as an employee.
This is it. Like, and I love what you just said about, like, you have to address these things with confidence. You have to know that. You have to go in there knowing that this is non-negotiable. Like, you have to go in there with that. I have to go. I think sometimes being a mum, just in that initial stage, you kind of feel like, oh, do I tell them? Do I not? That thing is dangerous because they build on it.
There's no one else that you can call.
Exactly.
And you open yourself up to this conversation.
That's it.
No, that's it. Okay, you know what? Let me try. No.
Exactly. If you give room for it, they'll take it.
Mistake. I will never ever do that again.
I've learned the hard way that because I was never really used to needing to leave work. It was not something I had like for something or someone. It wasn't a thing for me. So when the opportunity arose, it was a bit like, well, it's not really an opportunity, but when the situation came about, it was now like, how do I? And like I said, when you don't have a good manager, that alone plays in your mind. You're now thinking, oh, do I say it like this? Is this going to... Do you know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, I've learned that you have to... Like, your mum first. Your life... Listen, you leave tomorrow, they replace you the next day. Like, the truth of the matter is, you're not CEO.
Do quick collection.
That's it. If you even get collection, they may send you an email and say, Ashley left so early, we wish you the best on your endeavours. You never know. So the truth of the matter is, you have to put yourself and your family first. And I think that was a switch that took... Do you know what I mean? Being a mum, and then I had to mentally, like, put myself in that mindset because it just wasn't natural to me to just confidently be like, I'm leaving work. Like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's even the African in me that I just felt like, how can you just leave work? Where are you going? Exactly. But you have to know, listen, one thing I've learned as well, when you start a new company as a mum, read everything to do in there. What's that book called?
Policies,
the handbook.
That one is essential.
Sit down and read that thing to the T. Know your rights, because if you don't, it will come back and bite you. That's it.
Yeah.
And
drag you on the floor. Like
they will.
And
They really will.
sometimes you may be entitled to things that you don't even
don't
know.
even know.
Like there may be that ones that have like carers leave,
Exactly.
parent days. Like they've got different things, and you just may not know. But then also, I think we don't always have the flexibility to move jobs and stuff. But I think it is important to know the type of company you're going to work for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you don't always know.
Yeah, but you can ask in the interview process.
That's
Do you know what I mean? The same way they're interviewing you, you can ask, or do you have anything for
very
parents?
true.
If you're coming in now as a parent, you know you're a mum, is there any flexibility offered, working from home?
And it's funny because I think as a society, we see that as like it's something that I think a lot of people would be hesitant to ask because they don't want to seem like, you're going to need to make way for me. Or exactly, like, what if someone else doesn't have these requirements? You just kind of have that thing in the back of your head thinking, I don't want to ask for too much. But the truth is, you're setting yourself up to fail really if you don't know enough.
If you don't know,
it's wisdom
it's
to
just
ask,
worth
isn't
asking. Or you can even Google it. You know, they've got those review websites that they talk about.
Glassdoor's very good for that.
They have like, do you know what I mean? I think it's important just to kind of know what kind of company, and there's even companies that have the parenting groups, like the ERGs, the IRGs, where they now you have an advocacy group in the company that looks at what the company can do for parents and stuff like that. It's important because if not, they can just use you anyhow and just...
That's it.
You'll just be wondering,
and as long as you're within
go?
policy, nothing's going to happen to your job.
Exactly.
That's why it's important to know the policy.
Yeah. Exactly.
If not, you'll basically end up stressing yourself out, basically like going through it with your kid, your family life is affected because your work life is affected, everything's affected, and really you had a right to it the whole time, and no one's going to come and tell you.
No one will tell you.
You have to read for yourself. No one's going to tell you.
Because half the time, the managers don't know. They haven't read the booklet.
They haven't read
so you need to
relevant
read
to them.
and see what's entitled to you or join the groups. But it's very important. You realise you have days off that you didn't even know you even had to to look after your children.
But is it everywhere that like carers and parents leave, parental leave, whatever, is unpaid? Is that a normal thing?
I think so. Parental leave is usually unpaid. They don't.
What about carers leave?
I
think it's
also.
also...
I know in my company, it's unpaid.
Yeah, or they may give you a few days.
So this is the thing. If your child's not feeling well, again, we've all got bills to pay. We've all kind of figured out our expenses.
Annual leave, babe.
This is it. But then again, I know parents that don't like to use annual leave because they think just in case he needs it or she needs it at a certain time, I don't want to waste it too much. And when the time... Do you know what I mean? It's not easy.
No, it's by no means easy.
It's not.
But there's little things you can do to make it easier. Do you know what I mean? To kind of make it better for yourself.
As well, like, is this big enough that I'm going to need to take the day?
Exactly.
Or like,
you have to assess that.
Like, whether, okay, maybe can I work from home with this? Or can this be a sick day? Or just
I'm not going to lie. This pandemic... It's been horrible. It's been disgusting. But one decent thing that's come out of it is the new flexibility that employees have
for some companies.
Yeah, for some companies, because a lot of places you couldn't even work from home. But now it's like you can do it permanently. You have the option a couple of days. They've seen that we're able to work more flexibly, and that is like gold dust to a parent. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and this is what I tried. I literally seeked for this in the beginning. So when I became a nurse, I was working in a hospital. You're doing 12-hour shifts, nights and all sorts. And I just thought, you know what? Sienna was just born. I said, you know what? I'm going to put my head down and try and do this for a little while. I got to 4 months and I said, nah, sorry, I need to look for community. I need to look for something that I can be more flexible. Just because now I'm a mother, like, I can't be working these 12 hours like other people are doing. Either the children are much older. They don't have kids, you know what I mean? So I went into school nursing. And that was nice. I was there for like 4 years because it was bliss. Like, what do you call it? Half term, school holidays, I was off. And it's finding what works for you as a parent. So some jobs, like for nursing, there's different routes. There's like, you can, right now I'm in a community, I can work from home. I can go into work to see one patient in the morning and go back home. Like, I can be anywhere really. It's really flexible. And from the beginning, because I had Sienna right at the start, I thought, okay, cool, I need to now navigate myself and find this way, a more flexible way of working, where I'm still growing and progressing in my career. And I guess it's just being kind of like cautious about, you know, what you're able to do. Don't push yourself too much. I know we want to push ourselves. We want to be, you know, the best and do well at your job and your career, but then just planning and trying to work your way around it. You never want to put your child on the back burner. There's no way.
Exactly.
Like,
if it's an emergency, I'm cancelling appointments.
That's it.
But at the same time, I want to be professional. My meetings, when I work from home, Zeke will be singing B-I-N-G in the background, and I'm like, trying to talk.
Just off the back of that, I had in my position, we have to present cases that we have every fortnight. So it's my week to present. Bearing in mind, I'm presenting to the assistant registrar of our directorate. So I'm like, okay, fine. Amara, Mummy has a big meeting. This one, 2 years old.
That means nothing.
I don't even know why you tried it.
Because you know what? I know she hears me. I know she says to me, yes, Mummy. So I put on her program. I even gave her phone.
You're even brave.
Innit? I sat at the table. And it was
so risky.
You're brave. She said, Amara, what? If I was Amara, I would smile like you, like, yes,
Yeah.
Mummy, know what I'm going to do.
Bearing in mind, it's 10 to 10, and the meeting starts at 10 o'clock. So we're great. I haven't heard a peep from her.
Oh, you started 10 minutes too early as well. Babe, you should have done 2 minutes before 10.
There's no guarantees that I can't be faffing around with her for 5 minutes, trying to decide what program she wants to watch.
Yeah.
It's too much. We need that solid 10 minutes. Fine. We start now. Morning, everyone. Morning. Fine. My team always goes last, so I'm the last to present. So other teams go. Still quiet. Wonderful. So yeah, quiet. As I open my mouth, like, morning, Mommy. I want apple juice. I'm so sorry. Bear with me. My manager's in the meeting, busting up. He's like, I'm looking at him like, alright, fine. So like, no, don't worry about it. So I'm like, oh, Mom, just fine, quiet. Carry on now. Yes, Mommy, I don't want this one. And I'm just like,
what is going on here?
Don't worry. And I'm bearing in mind, mid-presentation.
Of course.
So I'm so sorry, bear with me. Mute, take off my screen. Mara, stop it. Go sit down. Fine. Boom. Come back on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so, bing, bing, bing. My doorbell goes.
Oh, my goodness.
I ignore it. Still talking to bing, bing. Mommy,
Oh, just finished.
Mommy, the door. Mommy.
I will unplug the internet. Everything's
I was so
forget it.
discombobulated.
It's gone.
So bearing in mind, already, I'm already looking like
Of
a mad
course.
person with Amara. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, please, someone's at the door. Boom, boom. Who's it? My mum.
Oh, that's good.
She came with...
That's helpful.
No, it's not helpful. She came with Scotch bonnets. I'm like, Mum, I'm in a meeting. I'll go back. Oh, sorry. She leaves.
Oh, no.
But you wouldn't just...
I looked from the corner of my eye like...
No way has she just left.
She didn't take Amara home. So Amara's still doing grandma. I see her to Konya sitting here. This is how Amara's sitting. In the camera. They'll be like, hi. She'll be looking. Mommy looking and pointing at me on the screen.
Oh, my gosh.
My manager's busting up. Like I said, it's good when you have
Good managers.
He's laughing. The assistant registrar is like, it's fine, like, we get it. One stupid somebody, it's not like that with my dogs. What?
They love it. They love that, you know. They love that. They love it.
Whoa.
If you're a pet person, you know.
Sorry, they're different. They're named different things because they are different things.
No, but you know
So
what?
I understand.
Dog parents.
No, there's no need. There's some comparisons that I just feel like it's not necessary.
Just pick me your mouth. It's actually okay.
I guess she was trying to make you feel comfortable.
I suppose that is what she's trying to do.
It's fine.
Did you play on it at least?
I was just like, I'm so sorry, guys. Like, what can you do? The girl's still there doing hello, peekaboo, hello. Like,
I would have given her an ice lolly. Couldn't you give her an ice cream or ice lolly or something?
I can't keep.
Getting up, getting out of shot, yeah.
Let me know that first mommy I want apple, I would have put ice lolly, ice cream. Just do your thing.
She's not that way inclined. She wants my attention.
She wants
When
you,
wants
yeah.
She's
gonna get it, yeah.
Mommy, look, it's mommy. I want hickory dog. I want chocolate. And this
Kids are like that.
Stand up.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's just like it's difficult to remain professional.
Of course.
But ultimately, as long as my work shows what I'm capable of, you know that you can't come and second guess me when it comes to anything. Yeah, I'm doing all of this. You see the chaos that's around me. But yet the work I'm giving to you is of a top tier standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than of those that don't have children.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Hold this one. Yeah?
And I think that's the thing. You have to make sure that your work's in check.
You can't be doing sloppy.
Yeah.
And
If you're doing sloppy galoppy, just handing a notice. Send that hi, guys.
Maybe they'll come and give you one.
Call it a day. Don't even wait for the one-to-one. Don't let them disgrace you. Just be going. Just be going quietly. But I do think as a mum, it's fun. You have to plan your life. You have to plan your life. You have to have a plan. Like, you have to be quite specific and intentional because having a child is a long-term thing, isn't it? A career is changing. You want to grow. You want to do this. You have to know that, okay, I'm going to, for now, do this role. This will keep me for this time. It'll give me this or that flexibility. Or I'm going to stay where I am, but I'm going to make sure I work extra hours to make sure my work is great. So even when Amara, whoever's popping up and down, it's still okay because my work speaks for itself. You have to plan all those things. Be okay with maybe doing the same role for a year longer that you didn't want to do just because you know that next year you've set yourself up better. You have to plan. Because if you don't, you just find some people that have ended up in roles for years and years and years. It's not because they necessarily planned to, it's because they didn't plan to, they didn't plan enough around having a child and growing. Because it takes planning. It's not something you could just do off the whim. It's just everything. Going out for us as mums takes planning. Do you know what I mean? Going down the road to the shop, anything takes planning.
I've planned my outing for next week.
Exactly. Exactly. Particularly when you're conscious of how old your child is. I think the younger they are as well, even more intentional. Like you said, when they're a bit older, no one's going to come to the camera. By that point, you can say to Kiana, you know what I mean? Sit down there, mum's on the call, be quiet. Do you know what I mean? You can do that. But to be honest, you guys are real MVPs because I cannot be at work and Micaiah's at home because the truth is, Micaiah's the kind of and I think Amara probably went through this. When you start to speak is when they want you. It's not even, I could be in that meeting for 2 hours. It's when you start to speak. That's when it's, and they just want you, like you said. There's nothing you can really do about that. And to be honest, I can't even focus. I feel like I'm going to keep losing track. Even if it's not a meeting, I'm just not really all there. I'm not as focused as I would be if he wasn't. So, and usually he'll have more fun at nursery. That's the reality because I can't play with you. So at least when you're at nursery, they'll do whole role play with you. They all of that. You're learning and I'm working. So when you come back, I'll give you all my energy. And you guys know I've got energy in it. You guys know me. So when he's back, it's like, hey, baby. But yeah, like we're having a great, like honestly, it works for me. How you guys do it where you're saying, shh, I don't know. I couldn't do it.
Because you can't.
Like, I actually couldn't do it.
You can't keep them on camera, so yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But having a good manager, I think that's a big one.
That's key.
It changes everything.
It changes everything.
Working for a good company with good policies in place. So even if your manager's not really, at least you can say, but hey,
this is the policy. Exactly. You need to be able to revert back to
It's
it.
that point now. It's already like, it's sour.
No, they respect themselves because
they should have read it. They should have known.
You should
Why
know
didn't
that
they
I have this
know?
right.
I feel like I shouldn't have to come and now bring the booklet for you to understand.
No, but they don't read it.
No, that's true. You shouldn't have to. But if you've had to and they've now been sour, that's another discrimination. Because I brought policy to you now, you're now mistreating me. No, come on. There's a lot in that. Babe, there's a lot in that book. There's a lot in that book. Oh, there's a lot in that book. If you don't know, I got the book now, I'm playing. But it is important for us to know our rights. It's important for us to cover ourselves. It's important for us to be fair to ourselves. We're here to work. We have our own rights. We have our own benefits. Use them. They're there for you because they know that being a mum or a dad is not. It's just not. It's not a walk in the park. So they've written it for a reason. Utilize it. You know.
I mean, you mentioning dads too. Also, they should read their rights.
100%. Because that 2-week paternity is not it. Let's be honest. So if you have to take a carer's leave. Take a carer's leave. Like it's actually your right to take it. You're allowed to take it. It's because we don't know about it. That's why.
And to be honest, like the stereotype is if you're a dad, they'll even be cheering you on. Oh, you're such a good dad.
Exactly.
Go. Whereas if it's a woman, it's like, oh, again. So dads, do it, man. Do it. They're fine with you. So
and your wife will appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But wow.
Thank you guys for watching. Listen, we want to hear your views. We want to hear your opinions. As I said, contribute to our discussions.
Yes.
You know, we want to hear you.
Yes. Let us know your struggles.
We're here every Tuesday, guys. Don't
Every
forget.
Tuesday.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.